The collapse of the British pound against the US dollar and that of the euro have absolutely nothing to do with the latest news from one government or another. It's a problem created for years. The reality is that the British pound and the Bank of England have been implementing aggressive monetary policies throughout the period of low rates and high liquidity injections, massively increasing the imbalances, and now are suffering the consequences. Because playing the Federal Reserve without having the global demand for dollars, the liquidity, the level of strength of the financial sector, and the level of complexity of the structure of the US dollar is literally generating a bigger problem long term. The euro has been collapsing against the dollar for years. Only a couple of years of relative outperformance when we see year after year the euro going to new lows against the US dollar. The same with the British pound recently. What we need to understand is that the excess of the past is now delivering the consequences of thinking that you can print all the money that you want and that you can increase imbalances massively, put negative real rates, increase money supply, increase massively government spending, and think that nothing is going to happen. And it happens. Now, the UK and the Eurozone are finding themselves with much higher imported inflation. However, what is imported inflation? This is a joke. Inflation is the loss of purchasing power of a currency. And the inflation that the United States is suffering because of the imbalances created in their own currency is now coming on added to the destruction of the purchasing power of the euro, the yen, or the British pound. Very important. What is happening with gold in this environment? Everybody's saying that gold isn't working, that gold is down in dollars. Gold is only down in dollars. It's up in euro, it's up in yen, it's up in pounds. And this is important to understand. Why? Because gold is working precisely as the relative defense that it should. On the one hand, it is outperforming equities, it is outperforming bonds, it is outperforming cryptocurrencies, certainly outperforming fiat currencies for the most part. And the only thing that is stronger is the US dollar because it's a relative world. Not because the US economy is better or the Federal Reserve is making a stricter monetary policy, but because the US dollar is the world reserve currency. And in relative terms, it is working better. Therefore, gold continues to be a good source of hedge to the monetary destruction in most of the economies, and a very good opportunity relative to the debasement of the purchasing power all throughout the world, because in reality what we're seeing is that governments continue to increase the deficit spending, which means that they will continue to spend more new units of currency than what is actually demanded. So let's pay attention to that. Gold remains a good hedge and certainly a much better one than bonds or cryptocurrencies.